So whilst I'm waiting for some parts for my steady rest, I've got another project I need to do real quick. There was a recent death in the family, this guy. I used this wrench to tighten the nut on my the drawbar on my mill, and the ratchet no longer grabs. This is what you get for cheese ball. So I'm going to cut the end off this wrench, and I'm going to make a small section for a hammerhead and braze it on the end of this guy. So we're going to do that today. So the first step is to use the cutoff wheel to remove the open end off this wrench, and then clean the chrome off back a ways so that I can braze it on. Next step, take this over to the grinder, remove some of the chrome back a ways so that we can braze it on. Next step will be to cut off a piece of brass, face the sides, and cut a slot in it. So I think we're going to go with slightly smaller diameter material. I think it makes more sense. Here's the wrench. Seems more proportional this way, so we're just going to do it this way. Just face the end off. The dimensions of this guy are incredibly rough, so it's there's no critical measurements, it's just eyeballing it. So let's slow this down quite a bit. Although to be honest, with brass you probably could get away with it, but spare material out. Let's face this guy off and chamfer. And the weighted end is done. Let's move over to the mill, cut a slot. So it took a little bit of doing, but I got the wrench in here the long way. It's going back this way with the ratcheting part back here. If I put it in the vise, I couldn't hit a flat spot. So now I've got my grinding vise, which I don't have a grinder, but I have my grinding vise in the other vise, and I just want to flatten this edge off a little bit and make the numbers sort of even so it'll be easier to get to later. So I'm just going to run some really light passes over it and square up these edges, and then we will cut the brass piece, put a slot in it, and I will TIG braze it on. So because of the awkwardness of this guy and wanting to be able to find the sides, I've got two identical V-blocks to hold it centered so it's nice and tight. They're equidistant, they're the same height, so they will make the part equidistant from each side of the jaws of the vise. So I use the jaws to find the center of the y-axis, edge of the part to find the x-axis, and then we're going to prepare to mill next. So we're going for plus or minus 220 thousandths. This is not exactly the optimal bit for such a soft material. Oops, sorry about that. Alright, so here we go. There's the slot. Now we just got to go weld it in place and we'll be done. Quick project. So I've never done brass TIG before where you're just trying to braze. My understanding is you just stay mostly on the steel and just slightly on the brass and melt the brass into it. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I don't know if I can show you this, so I'll have to bring you back when it's done. Alright, so here's the final product. The function's good, the form not so good. Like I said, I've never TIG brazed before, so I was concentrating keeping the heat on the handle, and it turns out that the steel was not the problem, it was the brass, because there's such a large thermal mass here that I really needed to keep the torch on the other side. So while I was focused on that, the thing shifted on me, and well, so it's not perfectly straight. It'll be functional, and next time I'll do a better job. The weld isn't great either. As far as appearance wise, it seems plenty strong. It actually works out really well. This particular brazing rod has 2% silver in it, so it flowed really nicely. That's it. One thing I'm going to leave, there are some little arrows to show the direction that this works, but I'm going to put green and red, one to show tight and one to show loosen, just so I don't have to think about it while I'm looking up here trying to tighten and loosen the drawbar. So that's my little project. Hope it was useful for you, and thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.